Welcome to Back to Basics, a podcast where we return to the wisdom that has been with us from the very beginning. In a culture that's drifting further from the truth, we're finding our footing again in faith, family, and the timeless ideals that lead to true physical, spiritual, and emotional health. Join us weekly as we explore candid conversations with leading health industry experts, thought leaders, and healers as we get back to the basic values that make for a healthier world. I'm Anna Montanaro, your host, and you're listening to Back to Basics. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Back to Basics. I'm so excited to be with you this post-Christmas week. I can't believe this year is almost over. And we have kind of a fun topic today. And honestly, when I was thinking about this topic, I thought it might be a snooze, but as I started to write it out, I think it's actually going to be a banger for you guys. But I want to talk about how the winter uglies are not actually real and winter doesn't suck. I think most people just do it wrong, especially as we are still in the thick of this season. And to be honest, we're kind of about to get into the part of the season that is not as fun as Thanksgiving and Christmas, needless to say. But I think I used to think about winter so much of like, ew, I'm, wearing big, bulky clothes all the time. I don't feel my best. The sun is never out. I'm exhausted. It kind of feels like a constant 4-month-long luteal phase. But last year I reframed and there were a few things that I did differently that I think could really positively impact each of us this year. I think that winter is actually weirdly maybe the most ancestral season. I get that summer, we're getting all the vitamin D, we look hot, we're going to the beach, we're eating fruit, we're doing all the things, but winter is about slowing down, it's about relaxing, it's about eating really warming foods, sort of like warming our bodies from the inside out, and just being really cozy. So I have like 5 or 6 things here that I want to talk about. It's going to be a short episode, and I hope that you like them. So the first one is we all really need to be sleeping in 100% organic flannel cotton sheets and going to sleep early and waking up early. So I feel like if you're a consistent listener of this show, you understand how important it is to A, build a sleep schedule, but B, have that sleep schedule follow the circadian rhythm of the sun, right? So sun comes up around like 6:30 these days, goes down around 4:15. And I'm not saying you need to be in bed at 4:15, right? But we want to really like eat when the sun is up and we want to be focusing on resting and relaxation when the sun is down. So for me, my schedule looks like I kind of wake up. I actually sleep with my blinds open in the winter, which is really nice. We have a wooded area behind our house. Obviously, I know that's not going to be the case for everyone. And ultimately, you do want to sleep in a dark, cold space. But because we don't have any lights behind our house, we'll sleep with our shades open. And the sun starts to wake us up around like, I would say 6:15, fully up by 6:30, 6:45. And that's when I wake up. And the first thing that I do, and this was actually a tip from Alexandra Radway. If you haven't listened to her episode yet, go back and listen to it. She's amazing, so smart when it comes to all preconception prep. But she brushes her teeth outside while she stares into the morning sun. And I started doing this and I am so obsessed with it. Getting that early sunlight into our eyes is so important for our hormonal rhythm. It's so important for, like I was saying, our circadian rhythm overall. But that early morning sunlight and then that evening time light right before the sun goes down impacts our hormones more than we know. So I am waking up when the sun comes up and brushing my teeth in the sun in the morning in my backyard. My neighbors are probably shook, but whatever, I've done weirder things. And then at nighttime, we make dinner around, don't freak out, 5:30, early bird special. Eat around like 6:30, which I'm going to get into in a second. And then we're in bed by like 8:15, 8:30. I know that people with kids are probably rolling their eyes right now, maybe multiple kids. But I think setting the routine and the schedule for the home in some way that works for you is really important this time of year. So that's number one. And I know I mentioned and kind of glazed over the 100% organic cotton flannel sheets. You guys, it's like sleeping in a hug. The flannel is so nice. And you can get these for like $50 at Target or even cheaper. And it is so cozy. I did ones with reindeers on them this year. My husband was like, are we 11 years old? But he loves them. So I am a big fan of them. I will actually link a few below. I also like, there's a set from Brooklinen that's really nice. Okay, the next one. Speaking of dinner and just like nourishment overall, we need to be making more braised meats, beef stews, warming root vegetables, things that really warm our bodies from the inside out. Broth is a huge one. So I'm drinking bone broth like twice a day these days, and I'm loving the effects that it's having on my skin. I'm trying to work up the courage to have it first thing in the morning before anything else. I mean, maybe a little bit water, but I'm not really that much of a savory girl early in the morning. So again, some courage is needed here. But eating stew, eating or drinking broth, eating warmed, cooked root vegetables, it's so good for our bodies, especially during this time of year. There's a reason why, our ancestors would cook like this during the winter months because it like bulks up your immune system quite a bit because these foods have so many vitamins, minerals, macro and micronutrients that are so important to keeping our immune system, locked and loaded for quote unquote sick season. I don't love that term, but you get what I'm saying. But also it helps us to, front load nutrients during this time so that as we get into a place when the sun is out more of the day where you're not necessarily as hungry, which if you look up the link between your hunger rhythms and the circadian rhythm when the sun is rising and setting, it is so crazy to see. And if you think about it, it's real, right? Like in the summer, I can be out on a boat for like 6 hours and maybe I'll get hungry and have a little bit of fruit, but I'm not starving like I am during the winter. I'm not like craving those warming, grounding foods. I think when you get to a place of really having a rhythm with your diet and your lifestyle, you start to notice those things even more. But the point that I'm trying to make is that eating warming, grounding foods, especially in the winter, is so important. I also saw something the other day that was so interesting, and someone I'm sure will fact check me on this, but it was talking about how babies or mothers that get pregnant in the later part of the winter, January, February, even March in some places, their babies are then born, late fall, early winter of that same year, but like the following half of the year. Those babies often have higher birth weight. They often have higher brown fat storage, which is really healthy when a baby is born. And they often have higher vitamin D levels actually, because that, second part of gestation, like second and third trimester is during the summer and the months where the sun is highest, and showing through the most throughout the day. So the point is that, winter is a time of nourishment. Winter is a time of relaxation and resting. And I think diet goes a long way with that. So for me, I would say, and, I do a lot of what I eat in a day is on Instagram, but for me, it looks like I wake up in the morning, I'm having warm water first thing, a little bit of lemon. I like a little Baja Gold mineral sea salt in there or Redmond real salt. Vera salt is great, VERA. If you haven't seen it yet, it's the first like totally microplastic free salt. So I do that. I have always like a grounding protein heavy breakfast, usually some eggs. Maybe I'll have some ground beef, maybe a little sourdough toast, lots of fats, right? Cooking them in butter, avocado, things like that. I usually have some broth midday. I'll have a lunch of usually cooked meat, another broth in the afternoon. And then dinner is usually, again, like a beef stew or a braised short rib, braised beef of some kind that's been cooking for a long time and is just really delicious and nourishing. Another thing that's really makes this so easy is oftentimes I will meal prep some sort of like braised meat. And it's really easy because you can literally cook for like 10 minutes, throw it in the oven for 5 hours. And then at the end of the day, you have the most delicious food ever. So that's another hot tip in terms of making winter better. The third one, and this is kind of a hot take, but stay with me. You need to be getting out on walks. getting the sun in your eyes, again, going back to point one, is so important when the sun is out during the day. So bundle up. I mean, I'm doing like a pair of leggings, sweatpants over it, and get your long underwear game on, put on a big puffy coat. You'll look like a marshmallow, but it's fine. And get outside. We still need to move our bodies, and doing low impact things that, again, help to like breed rest and restoration in your body on a daily basis is really important. I'm a big fan of a walk. I'll do like 30 minutes in the morning. I try to do 15 to 20 minutes at lunch after I eat. And then I'll do 30 minutes right before the sun goes down to get that like after hours, golden hour sun in my eyes. So walks are very important. And I get it. Like, nobody wants to go out when it's 30 degrees out. But again, the bundle is great. And when you get back, that's when you warm up from the inside out with something like a broth, with something like a protein hot chocolate, which we're doing a lot of at my house with the Equip protein, some warmed milk. I'll make like some homemade whipped cream to go on top. It is just chef's kiss delicious. Okay. You need to be sitting in low incandescent lights. Low incandescent lights. This is very important. So if you're not familiar, there might be multiple different types of light bulbs, but the most common ones that you'll see are LED lights. Those are the lights that you like go into a hospital and they're flickering literally thousands of times a minute. It gives you that like almost like, oh my gosh, I'm about to have a seizure type of feeling, if you're familiar. But what and those are actually the most common lights that we see all around. And we know there are studies that show that incandescent light bulbs disrupt hormonal regulation, specifically testosterone. So if you live with a man and you have LED lights, like when we moved into our house, our builder had obviously only put in LED lights because actually in, I think 2023, 2022, the Biden administration outlawed incandescent light bulbs. And incandescent light bulbs, they don't have a flickering mechanism. They're the kind of light bulbs that like, if you're watching, you can see they have the little wire in between the two. It almost looks like a wishbone. It's like old school Thomas Edison vibes, you know? So those lights are much better for our hormonal regulation than LED light bulbs. Very, very, very important to switch out the light bulbs in your house for incandescence. I get mine at a website called, actually my dad put me onto this, which is so random, but it's a website called 1000 Bulbs. I'll link it in the show notes. You can order tons of different incandescent light bulbs on there. You can order red incandescent light bulbs, which are what I have in my bedroom. So when we go to sleep at night, we turn on the lights and it's a red incandescent light bulb that helps, again, sort of like shut down our circadian rhythm. We're not seeing a bunch of blue light before we go to bed. We're not being like assaulted with LED lights. Very important switch. And this is like, again, I mean, it's something that you can invest in or not, or if you have a really handy person in your orbit who can do this for you. When we moved into our house, I put most of the lights in our house on a dimmer. And that is very important because when you have the incandescent bulbs, they're very, they're already that like kind of warm Nancy Meyers-esque low light. But when you can dim them, you can really like turn down the temperature at night. And we do really dim lights throughout our house. I mean, I do until my husband comes home and like flips on the the overhead lights and I'm like, what are you doing? I'm blinded. But the point is he's learning as well. So we do really dim, low incandescent lights at night. And again, that just like helps to kind of set the cozy vibe, set the mood. Our Christmas tree we actually got, and this is not like totally non-toxic, but I'm not a real tree girl. I always grew up with fake trees and I don't know, I prefer it aesthetically. I'm sorry I said it. But our tree has a dimmer on it. So we will turn down the tree at night too. Which again, it's just like very nice to set that like soft, glowy, cozy feeling in your home. So if you can put all your lights on a dimmer, if not, well, in tandem with incandescent bulbs, if no dimmer, that's totally fine. Incandescent bulbs is more than enough. It's lovely. when I am like winding down for the night, this is a very important part of the routine is the wind down, the winter routine that doesn't give you the uglies, it gives you the pretties. You're doing the wind down and I have dinner. Like I said, we eat around like 6:30. Dinner's done at 7. We clean up. We're, moving towards the bedroom to go to sleep. I always take a hot shower in super dim light. Um, Sometimes I'll even do lights off and just like candlelit hot shower, relaxing music. And then when I get out, I put on my little wheezy robe, which is so cozy, and I go back into the kitchen and I am sure there will be some Karens in the comments who are mad that I don't have like a double blind randomized placebo controlled trial to tell you that this works. But if you try it, I'm telling you, your mind is going to be blown. What I'll do is I will put some milk in a pan and heat it up. I do like A2 organic whole milk. I like Alexander Family Farms. I know that some people like raw milk, kind of defeats the point if you're going to heat it up. You warm the milk, and then I put about a tablespoon of honey in with a little bit of cinnamon, mix it, drink it. You will have the best sleep of your life. I'm not kidding you. Again, scientifically proven, not so sure about that, but it's me proven. It is the most incredible thing for your immune system, for your nervous system before you go to sleep. And I swear to you, that is the reason why I have not gotten sick this entire winter. And I really like don't feel the ups and downs of getting sick basically ever, knock on wood. At least it's one of the reasons. So warm milk with honey and cinnamon before bed. If you don't want to do it all the time, especially in your luteal phase leading up to getting your period. I don't know about you guys, but as my progesterone is surging during that time, oftentimes I wake up during the middle of the night and I'll have like, a little bit of a stint, maybe 20, 30 minutes where I'm up and I'm thinking about all of the things that I didn't get done the day before or whatever. This has totally eradicated that for me. It is so wild and I'm obsessed with this ritual. So I'll put my cup away. I'll go get into bed. We have the red lights on. And I really try to not look at my phone leading up to bed. But if I do, I've mentioned I have some blue light glasses that I really love. They have like the red lenses. I'll link them in the show notes as well. And they are incredible. They're the first blue light glasses that I've really seen make a huge difference at nighttime. So we'll wear those, read, relax, go to bed, and that's kind of it. Again, I think winter can really be a time where we're prioritizing rest and rejuvenation while staying active, obviously. But like the word that comes to mind for me when it comes to winter is nourishment. Like nourish yourself, nourish your body, read a book, get smarter, get more interesting, get closer to God, get closer to yourself. You don't have to make this time basically a waste by us staring at our phones all the time because we're inside and it's cold out and we're just like constant scroll hole. I have a tendency to fall into those behaviors as well, but I think really aligning your intention with how you want to feel and how you want to nourish yourself does really well this time of year. We're also going to be doing, and I'm going to do another solo episode on this that will come at the beginning of January, but we're going to be doing an animal-based 30 on my Substack in the month of January. So it's 30 days, only animal-based food that is meat, dairy, eggs, honey, fruit. That's basically it. And it's, again, such an incredible way to nourish your body, to get really clear on what your intentions are when it comes to nourishing yourself, feeding yourself. And when I tell you 30 days of this diet, I look like a different person in February last year. It is incredible. So I'll leave you with that little plug. I will link my Substack below too if you want to join us on Animal Based 30 in the month of January. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this solo episode. Just a few easy tips to make your winter a little bit more enjoyable. I think that mindset shift of like, oh my gosh, this sucks. The sun is down all the time. It's dark out. I'm ugly, to I'm actually like cozy and this is really nice and it's a time of rest and rejuvenation is the mindset shift that a lot of us need, especially this time of year. So I hope you guys had an incredible Christmas. I will see you again next week for another episode. And if you have any questions before then, slide into my DMs. Per usual, please rate, review, subscribe to the show. It really does mean a lot to us. And we will see you soon.